Well, we're doing a little bit different type of video this week. It is very cold out, so we took a big fat zero this weekend from hiking. So that's kind of a downer. This is our day 3. We've got a long weekend, so we kind of got cabin fever. But as you can see, Cabby's enjoying a bone. He's feeling extra special because normally I wouldn't let him sit on the couch while he's gnawing on a bone. But what we'll do is we'll just give you an update of where I'm at with the journey on the hardcore carnivore. Hopefully this isn't going to be a long video, but just wanted to give you an update so people wouldn't lose interest and not know where I'm at after week 3. So this is week 3 of the carnivore video series, and just give a reminder, when I started this I was at 250.6 pounds. I had some really good weight losses over the first couple weeks. I will say last week wasn't a great drop in weight, but I'll say how much I was at the end of the video, or where I'm at right now as of today. And today is, what is today? Today's the 19th of January, so we've been at it for 19 days now. And again, hopefully this will be a short video, but just tell you what I've experienced over the last week. So as I mentioned at the end of the video last week, I did say I was going to change the timing of my eating. Previously, I was eating when I would get home from work, and usually that ended up being into I'm going to say a late afternoon, early evening meal. Last week I had to do 10 to 6:30 shift, and we rotate our shifts every other week. So this week I'm going to be on a 6 to 2:30 shift. But what I did last week is I transitioned off of eating in the late afternoon, early evening, into eating in the morning. I'm going to say mid-morning to afternoon. Typically, I've always been a 1 meal a day type of person, and I would say for the last 20 years easily, that's how I've eaten my meals. 1 meal a day, and it's always in the late afternoon, early evening, sometimes later in the evening. And I will tell you, it was tough for me to switch from eating in that later afternoon, evening, to the morning. I mean, I don't know if it was emotionally, psychologically, I don't know what it was, but it was tough. And I will say the first day I completely failed. On Monday when I went back into work, I couldn't eat in the morning. I wasn't hungry. I mean, I was very satiated, like there was no hunger for me. So I did eat that night. I went into Tuesday, and that day, that morning, I forced myself to eat. And like I said, I wasn't hungry at all, but I forced myself to eat because I wanted to get into that pattern. And I just kept pushing that more and more as the week went on, to the point where Thursday and Friday into Saturday, Sunday, I was able to eat in the morning. I had some hunger, but not a lot. But I was done eating by 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And like I said, typically I'm a 1 meal a day type of person. What I found by eating in the morning, I couldn't eat the full meal, the 1 meal a day, just because I would be so full. And I don't like going into work with that full feeling. So what I would do is I'd eat half of the meal before I went into work, and then when I went on to a lunch break at some point in the day, then I would eat again. The last 2 days I did something similar, though I kept those meals closer together. So it was 10 and noon, we would say. I'd like to get it to 1 meal again today. Just for me, life-wise, that's just more convenient. But really what I saw is I didn't see a big change in my weight all week. In fact, I think it was Tuesday, I gained a pound. And I was a little shocked by that because my volume of food didn't change at all. That didn't change. Just the timing of it changed. And I'm kind of attributing that to, well, I ate in a shorter time span than I normally would on Tuesday because I had a meal Monday night. Going into Tuesday, I ate again in the morning, and that was a quick turnaround for a meal. Usually, I'm sitting around 24 hours before I eat another meal. So you would probably call that intermittent fasting. I don't play it that way, but that's just was my lifestyle. And as I continued throughout the week, again, I wasn't eating in that late afternoon, early evening time period, shifting it into mid-morning, early afternoon, and then by the weekend, only eating before noon. Though, like I said, it was twice I would eat. So I didn't have much weight loss there. I have lost weight this past week, but not as much as I would expected. I knew the rate would drop as you lose more and more weight. It's going to get tougher to lose weight, but I thought it would be a little bit higher than that on the third week of this journey, I guess we'd call it. Would you call it a journey? Are you still going at it for that? But I will say that what I noticed throughout the week is that I felt a tightening of my body. And I don't mean like my joints got stiff or I was having a hard time getting out of bed or getting out of a couch. What I mean by tightening is that I felt my body get tighter. So my clothes got a little bit looser, not a lot. Definitely it felt in my pants that I could tell my pants were a little bit looser. But the tightening, again, I think I mentioned it last week that I feel more confident when I'm walking. I'm feeling with a stronger stride. But definitely that tightening was there. So overall, didn't lose a lot of weight, but I felt a tightening of my body. So whether that's me shrinking, I'm assuming that's what it is. I did feel better this week than I did the prior week. So one of the highlights of the week is, like I said last week, I ordered a Keto Mojo glucose and ketone monitor. That did show up Friday, and so I have been testing my glucose. You want something? You want some help? Oh, that thing is really stuck in there. Ugh. Let's get it out. Oh. There you go. Back to the video. So yeah, I got the Keto Mojo glucose and ketone monitor, and for the last 3 days I have been monitoring my levels, the ketone and the glucose. You're not making this easy, but that's all right. That's all right. The video is going to be longer than we expected, isn't it? Yes. But so I can share my results with you. Let me pull them up here. Mister, you're knocking stuff over there. So the Keto Mojo monitor, you can get the free app that goes with it. So it tells me what we've been getting. I gotta look because I can't even remember. I think it was 4.6, 4.5 was my GKI, which is the glucose ketone index. My glucose was at 90, ketones are at 1.1. And the normal range for glucose, if I'm going to remember this right, it's 72 to 110. So I'm definitely within that range. I do want that lower, again, because I don't want my body using glucose as much as I do want it to be using fat. My ketones at 1.1, so I am in a moderate level of ketosis. And I actually don't want to be or have a higher rate of ketones right now. The reason I say that is because the body will feed off of the ketones before it will feed off of my own stored body fat. So at that 1.1 range, the first day I had it, I was at a 1 for ketones. I was 0.8 the second day. Then this morning is at 1.1. So I want to keep it around there. I don't want to be producing too many ketones because I want my body focused on burning my stored fats. So I did want to mention a couple of my buddies that are doing the hardcore carnivore with me. I've got one buddy, what did he say? He's down 17 pounds since the beginning of the year. Another one who he's been doing keto for a couple of years now, and he's actually helping me with the Keto Mojo monitor and understanding that. He's lost a ton of weight, but this past month he has gone with no alcohol. So he's gone 19 days without a drink. Not saying he's an alcoholic at all, just that he completely cut the alcohol out of his body. And he's saying that he is feeling great from that. So, hey, kudos to you guys. You're losing a lot of weight. A buddy close to me here, and then the one up in Wisconsin, knocking out alcohol for 19 days and feeling better. To me, that's a really, really good sign. Good sign. Good job. So again, I didn't want this video to be very long. One, I don't really have a home studio. I've got a couch in the window that my dog likes to hang out in, so you can get a see cabbie. But I just wanted to reveal my weight for this week, and I am at 231.4. So that puts me 19.2 pounds down after 19 days of hardcore carnivore. Again, I was a little bit, I'm not upset, disappointed that I didn't lose more weight last week, but I am going to attribute that to switching my meal timing, as well as my sleep was really bad last week, and even this weekend it was terrible. Multiple times waking up at the night, and I would say pretty much every day I'd wake up in the middle of the night and I'd be up for an hour or two. That's something I've struggled with my entire life, sleeping the entire night. I used to sleep 4 or 5 hours a day, and that was it. And now I'm trying to get 8 hours, and it's tough for me to do that, to stay sleeping for 8 hours. So I think a lot of that not huge progress movements came from poor sleep. And if you're doing a keto or you're following your health, you probably already know that sleep is a good sleep is a key factor in making your body healthy again. So I'm just going to end this video just like that. I would say keep watching. I'm going to tag my last week's video to this one, so if you didn't see that, you can go ahead and take a look. But looking for more progress, even if that progress isn't huge. If I can lose 1 to 2 pounds of weight a week, within 3 or 4 months, I'm in a good position to be healthier. Probably not the goal weight that I would want, which I really haven't set a goal weight. But I just want to feel better so that when it's not freezing outside, sub-zero temperatures, Cabby and I can take some nice long hikes and just hang outside, stay on the trail as long as we can. See you next week.
Yes, you're such a good boy. You're such a good boy. Yes, you are. Hanging out in the window like that. And you can see that damn Pekingese across the street. That damn Pekingese. Yes.